Hi guys, it's Ernest from Proximal Consciousness. How you guys doing today? Got a great subject matter for you. Image. Now, by definition, image is the abilities I should say, to recognize patterns, sequences, right? Repeated patterns and repeated sequences. Image can be applied to just about anything. Humans, houses, landscaping, whatever. Some people might view image as a negative, and some people might view image as a positive. And either one of those could be true, right? As a negative, image is something that we would avoid. It's bad for us. It's not productive. It represents something that is ultimately detrimental to our happiness, our soundness, our safeness. As a benefit, as a good, it helps us to analyze. It helps us to recognize those things that we love, we like. It helps us to simplify. It's a rule of thumb to live one's life by. If it looks like this, if it sounds like this, if it walks like this, then cool. Right? I would say that given that it allows us to recognize the bad as well as the good, it's probably a moot point. It's something that just is. It's a part of the human existence. It's a part of our reasoning capabilities. It has harmful potential. Some people or some things may look like a negative, but yet not really be a negative. Some things may look like a positive, but yet and still may not be a positive. So it's a part of our reasoning abilities. It's a part of the tools that we as human beings utilize in order to make judgments about things. And the soundness of those judgments hinge upon our ability to go beyond just the mere face of image. Right? The younger we are, the more we tend to just judge things on the surface. We don't necessarily have all the facts. We don't necessarily have all the truth. As we get older, as we learn, as we explore, we learn more about our existence. We learn more about image. We learn more about getting beyond the image, the surface of things, and making clearer, more concise decisions about whether something is bad or something is good for us. Right? So it's an analytical tool. It's a necessary analytical tool. Right? It helps us, and those of us who are aware, and those of us who desire to be aware and to increase our awareness, it helps us to do things better. Irregardless of how it falls, it's a flag to those of us who care about really getting to the heart of the matter. It's a flag that propels us to know more, right? There is something there that we recognize, good or bad, whatever it may be, but it's got our attention. Right? And once it has our attention, then we can proceed forward to analyze it and to know more clearly whether it's a bad or a good. If it's a bad image, then we may avoid it. We may attempt to alter it, may attempt to improve it, whatever it may be. If it's a good image, we may attempt to build upon it, to nurture it, to care for it, to help other people to recognize it for what it is. Right? Now, this is something that's for small children. This is something for adults. This is something that we apply to communities, to countries, to the entire world for that matter. It's been something that's been utilized since the beginning of time. Utilized as a means of grouping, of organizing, of exploring and analyzing, of a means of communicating to one another about our environment, about a environment. Not such a bad idea. Something that should be truly explored, something that should be understood. I mean, this is image is something that we should teach everyone about. The pros and cons. You know? The strengths and weaknesses of it. Right? It's something that young children should be taught so that they'll know the consequences of being a certain kind of way. You know? Because ultimately, image does have an impact on people when they encounter it. Whether that's physical, verbal, whatever it may be. Image is a powerful statement to make, to participate in this world. Because of what it signifies. It gets people's attention. It draws people in for that analysis. Are you prepared for that analysis? The image that you set forward says to the whole world, here I am, take a look at me. What do you think? Or what don't you think? Right? It's not something that should be taken lightly. There's probably many people in the world who have decided to play around with the idea of image, and they want it to look a certain way, sound a certain way. They want it to be perceived a certain way on surface. But then when they encounter others who have been attracted to that image, for good or bad, and then those people found that what was underneath it all was not to their liking or what have you. And then, there were negative consequences to such a thing. Right? Image is not to be played with. I mean, it's very important that we teach and learn and understand that image is a very important analytical tool to humans, to those of us in this world who want to be objective. You know? It's not something to be played with. It's not something to be misguided with. It's not something that somebody should toy with just for the sake of toying with it, to stir the emotions, to stir one's analytical endeavors, and especially to take lightly, to gain someone's attention, hopefully for good, sometimes for harm for some people. It's not something that should be taken lightly. There's many things that have been gained and lost as a result of people toying with image, being perceived as having some type of image. Some people worry about that sort of consequence so much so that they try not to be noticed. They try not to have any sort of image whatsoever, good or bad. Just want to be neutral. Don't want nothing to do with it. Don't want anyone's attention for anything. And they feel that taking that course of action about their lives reduces the risk of encountering people who don't like what they find beneath it all. Or people in general who just don't like the whole idea of image. Which, as I said, it's a part of life. It's a part of our reasoning capabilities. It's not something to be feared on either side. on the one that's displaying it, or on the one that's actually drawn and analyzing, who've taken sight to it or sound to it. It just is. You know? If you explore something that has an image, whether you like it or dislike the image in general, and you find that what lies beneath it is not of your liking, then you move along, right? Consider it a learning experience. So I think image is something that we need to give more thought to. It's something that we should endeavor to learn more about and understand the consequences of it. Because there's a lot that can be gained from image, and there's also a lot that can be lost from image. And it's important that people understand that. Extremely important. Because you don't want people playing with something such as image and finding out that they've ruined their lives as a result of it. That they've ruined their lives as a result of attracting to themselves all the analytical resources and power that exist in this world and beyond, only to find out that they never truly cared about that sort of thing, that they never truly cared about being under that looking glass, and that they were never truly prepared to justify that image, to defend that image to themselves, to others, at all. Right? So it's very important that we understand image. It's very important that we understand that playing around with things in this world can lead to a great deal of pain, distraction. Right? So that's the thought that I had today, you guys. I hope that you're liking these videos. I hope you're subscribing to my channel. And I look forward to having other discussions with you guys in the future. So have a good one, guys. Bye now.